To our third and final map of Cafe. We get into this ban phase, and you just can't help but think that all the storylining has led to this for Knights, but equally so, Fnatic have just the same amount of claim. You know, they were underwhelming in 2020. Now they've made it into the playoffs, and they're looking to push this all the way. This is their best opportunity to do so, to secure third place in the playoffs overall. Whoever loses this, Raven, they'll be all the way down into the lower bracket where they could potentially even end up 5th.
Yeah, look, that's a good point too, because there's quite a bit of SI points. Now, I don't have the table up in front of me, but there's quite a bit of a gap between 3rd and 5th in terms of SI points. So to fall all the way to that position would definitely be upsetting for either of these teams. But to your point about Fnatic, you're right. They had a very underwhelming 2020. It was a very disappointing year for them. We've talked about that quite a bit. And I'm sure, like, of course, they want to get 3rd, but I feel like regardless, they should be really happy with where they've come so far in stage 1 of this year. And it's a really good prelude to what the rest of the year could be for them. But they've got an opportunity here to equalize the series. This is their map pick. Now, looking at these bans, Manic, I'm just seeing a heavy focus on making roam clear very tough. Getting that Lion and Jackal out of there is going to make it tough on the room clear, and particularly the Jackal, it's something we saw the Knights lean on a lot.
Wonder if that particular ban has come on the back of seeing the Lion, Jackal could well have been lent into even heavier, as you're saying. Will make that a lot more difficult. And both of these teams utilize the roam game incredibly well on Coastline. Some to a little bit more degree of success, but at the end of the day, it was all the same. Now, the big thing, I think, here will mean that it enables that Valkyrie to come into play on the defensive side, Raven, and the Valkyrie can just change an entire dynamic of a game.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So much extra intel, and on a map like Villa, actually very crucial intel. So big pick for the Knights to be able to bring that in, and the fact that that's through the veto, not something we see a lot of. I do want to quickly bring up production, beautiful production, have pinged me with the table for the SI points, so to really paint this picture. 3rd place, 330 SI points. That's a lot of bickies, but 5th place, only 225, so it's 105 points difference. It's actually pretty significant, and come end of year, that really could be the difference between making SI or not.
Yep. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine if we look back at stage 1 and that's the determining factor for either of these teams? As both of them, in their own respects, there's really no bigger goal. I mean, for any team, it doesn't really matter whether it's these two or not. There is no bigger objective in Siege than that yearly 6 invitational at the end of the season. And this would put both of them in the best possible placing to find that spot, secure it toward the end of this year, start of next year. And now, going to see Fnatic start to get to work, start to clear out this roam. Sure that Knights aren't looking to do anything too cheeky.
No, and in fact, like, they've all bailed away from the north side of the map here. So this is great because it's making a lot of utility needs to be used and a lot of time. Half the round, in fact, for Fnatic to realize they've got that control, able to move around. But there are still some Knights players on slight extension. Sage, in particular, in a very important position here, trying to hold 90.
Whether or not we'll look to hard hot. Oh my goodness, that I just do not like seeing defenders near windows. It really, I really hate it. I really hate it. But there we go. Sage will be backed away from 90. And look at this, Fnatic have just swarmed to 90, taking complete control right now. And through the drone hole, Lusty going to be lighting up Juicy, the last player on Knights who really want going low with those smoke babes. And this is such great control from Fnatic.
Yeah, very textbook. This attack is taking the map control, pushing across, taking 90 control. Beautifully is Lusty getting the pick on Dino, but the push up from Sage. Really good effort for him to retake. And now he's just in the window, Manic. Your bane.
My goodness. Giving me a heart attack here, Juicy. Not Juicy, sorry, Sage. Juicy has in fact fallen, so his first opening into this match is death. Staring right down 6 foot under the ground. Drone economy starting to lack here for Fnatic. Only 4 left. Hayward taking down Alfama. That's a big kill. And you can hear the time is ticking. It is against Fnatic right now. Josh and Sage both going to be holding the line into Aviator. This is near impossible to get into, but Mag gives them the opportunity now. Down goes the Veltcam. Hayward, Sage to clutch up here, and with Mag going down, that's got to be it. Surely Tex does not get away. The dirty deeds done for free by Sage.
Sage is just having a great series. Look at Coastline was really big for him, and he is up and firing on Villa. A triple on round 1, a dig kill at that in amongst the mix. This is a really good start from the Knights, but look, it was a good start from Fnatic as well. I want to go back how textbook and well executed the first half of that round was. A great job getting the map control, pushing through 90, opening vault. They got the opening picks, ticked all those boxes. But the Knights, again, weathered the storm and they fought back with a vengeance.
Honestly, that may just be the determining factor. Knights have just been able to honestly weather every storm that Fnatic has thrown at them in their defense. 5-1. Their attacking half was on Coastline. They came back. Fnatic looked like they were starting to claw back, but both rounds in Hookah, Fnatic threw bodies at Knights, and they were, in all honesty, they were not in the best positions to deal with it on the first occasion, and somehow they still made it work. Second occasion, they were a little bit more prepared, so you are definitely not going to fault how well Knights have been doing. But this, the thing that will, not the thing, the key factor here for me is Fnatic having a first half that they can be proud of, because 5-1 just doesn't give you room to move. It doesn't give you any kind of opportunity when you head to the second half to make mistakes, which it only takes 1 or 2 small little mistakes. Sometimes it can be as simple as missing a shot. So you don't want to be in that position.
You really don't. Now, this is aggressive from the Knights here. They've got a very big presence in Aviator games. And look, that's the side that it seems Fnatic may want to come through. Lusty and Mag at least are stacked over on this side. Sage also backing up at the top of main stairs. So this is really big presence off-site. Hayward coming through Library Living as well. Maybe Lusty away from a drone, but doesn't matter. Hayward just swings and gets that pick.
This is a very nice start, as Mag just not going to be able to capitalize on a rotating Knights. Unfortunately so, because just look at what they've been able to do now. They have the choice. Do they continue to have presence on this south side, which it looks like they will? Hayward's still at 90, Dino in Aviator, and Mag is the solo player here. As a solo player, you are in so much danger of just being absolutely domed, no chance of a trade, but this is really cheeky. I don't know whether Knights are prepared for this. I believe it is Dino who is sitting in Aviator, and Mag back against the wall. They're both as close as you could be. Oh my goodness, that's going to give the position away, Dino. Oh, what a play from Mag. Single-handedly dismissing that roam game from Knights.
Really well played from him, honestly. It's a really good job, and it's given Fnatic a great advantage right now. They've still got over a minute on the board. You can see it. They've got master control. Stiggs has found another onto Juicy. This is going to be tough for the Knights.
Oh my goodness. Sage is just another level right now. Josh and made himself known. Mag's now stuck in an awkward position. If the timing is right for Josh, which it is, he'll find the free kill. I love this rotate. C4 still in hand. Big question is right now, do they have information on the diffuser? Regardless, Tex doesn't waste any time looking to stick it around bricks, or at least trying to bait them out. You can hear all the pings coming through right now.
Oh,
Raven, 30 seconds. They can continue to play Ring a Rosie.
they can. And look, that's unfortunate for Tex. He's going to go over and just finally clear that BPC. So that's the intel that the Knights had on his position. He's going to try and stick this plant. He's got a lot of time to be able to deny this. Big C4 coming up from Josh, though. Doesn't pull the trigger. It's just going to be shot by Tex. This is just a tussle here, Manic. He's trying to bait this out, but Josh playing it so patiently. He tries to get an engagement, but Tex, he's going to pull out the pistol and somehow wins the kill. No way.
What is that? Question marks in chat, because I am absolutely bamboozled by what I've seen. That C4 Raven was perfect. All he had to do was detonate it. But I love the intention of it. The C4 comes over, you hear the beeping, you get off your diffuser, you run away. But so well played. I cannot believe how that one is finished. Tex with the sidearm. After you saw the rotate out, the bullets go from the main clip, you thought that's it, done and dusted. Put it in the bin. Not to be. And Knights are going to be reattempting trophy here. Because that was... Man, that was a cluster.
It was. Look, that was pretty unfortunate because the Knights had done a great job to claw that back. Fnatic had a really solid opening phase there. Just at the back of Mag being able to get that double over on the other side. Really felt like Josh had that, Manic. I mean, there's so many questions I have from that. One was, why did he not blow the C4? I don't think it would have killed Tex, but I imagine if he'd at least taken 50 HP of Tex to come to that engagement, I mean, this would have been so much more comfortable for him. He could have whiffed and still won.
Yep. Instead, he whiffs and loses. So, you know, 6 in 1, half a dozen. And I think that... I know that Fnatic will be very happy with that. You could see Mag in the chat just then with a cheeky little lol. And a sigh of relief may be what is needed. Because 2-0 up for Knights, especially when Fnatic had a firm advantage there, would have been devastating.
Very, very different approach right now, Manic. There's actually 4 players stacked up around Master. Stig's over outside the Astro window. Looks like he's going to rotate, but maybe we're going to see a very quick, more direct push here from Fnatic. Mag in bathroom already. This is only 40 seconds. Incredible control already over on this east side. They're very stacked up. I don't know. This looks like it might be just a quick push, or maybe they're really just looking to capitalize, and that is what they do, Lusty, with the opening pick on Dino.
I mean, if their intel is serving them correct, they'll know that the roamers currently are off-site. Josh may be holding from a deep line, but Sage is nowhere to be found. And Fnatic have slowed it right back down. Really enjoying this, Raven. Fnatic are out here playing chess in this round, bit by bit, doing what they need to do, finding the opening pick on site, making sure that Josh doesn't have that free ability to sit in Aviator. And it doesn't actually look like they know what their final intentions are here.
Just stretching the legs. Well, after a very explosive first minute, we've hit a lull in the rounds. But still, some really good control from Fnatic. Mag just looking to cut that rotate back from the Knights players. And he's about to hit a pretty hefty engagement. That drone does spot Sage out. He's going to shoot and run. But this time delay is fantastic. And Lusty's capitalized on another pick. There's going to be a big push up Astro here. Fnatic look ready to go bang.
Yeah, that is the buddy system that we love to see so often. That's a lot of damage done by the Smoke Babe as Lusty now continues to push in side by side. Tex, they're going to swarm the site. Knights, they do not have a response for it. An excellent round from Fnatic. And dangerous signs here if you are a Knights fan.
Absolutely, and conversely, if you're a Fnatic fan, boy, you love to see that. That was confident, and I love the directness of it. On top of the fact they really controlled the pace. They started so explosive. That first minute, you saw all 5 stacked up around Master. And then Lusty, with the great entry onto Dino, they took what was needed to get the wall open, and then they chilled out. They didn't try and overextend. They didn't try and rush through with momentum. They held back. They took their time, and it was just beautiful.
Some would say clinical. Okay, here we go. Little adaptation. Really surprised to see that it's Sage on the Clash. Obviously, the Clash can just be so awkward to deal with on an attacking perspective. But you are taking a gun out of the hands of Sage. I mean, I say you are taking a gun. You're not necessarily, but you're definitely not letting Sage flourish in the way that we've seen so far. The first 2 rounds were unbelievable from him. Obviously not really having a look into that last round. But Knights have definitely got something cooked up here on Villa. So just keep an eye on what they're trying to achieve, because that Clash makes me nervous for Fnatic.
Certainly could be tough, on top of the fact that they don't really have a lot of operators in their attack lineup to deal with that Clash. It's going to make it tough to flush out, tough to push back. So really, I think that's going to be on how Sage plays it. If he plays it cautious enough and his teammates back him up, because I mean, that's the real best way to counter Clash, right, is to double team a Clash player to be able to try and get that pick. But I think you're right, Manic. This Clash could be really influential for this round.
Oh, talking about needing the buddy system, Juicy is going to be going hand in hand with Sage, at least for the first little opening 30 seconds of the round. Eventually they back away from each other, but there still remains. This is going to make any kind of play toward main stairs extremely awkward. 1 nade left onto Stigs. And maybe looking more at how they're going to approach it from a different angle, as now Fnatic look to potentially leave the entirety of main stairs for Knights and go for a north clear.
Looks like it. Josh, though, he's in a pretty precarious position over at the statue doorway. Not sure if he's been droned out yet or not, but this was something that the Knights did not have in that opening round, which they did end up winning anyway. But they didn't really have some aggressive presence. There's also a Knights player staying at the bottom of Astro Stairs. Now, Fnatic have certainly seen something. Look at this train. They're just centipedeing all the way over to the south side of the map. So adaptive.
Kind of got the Dwarves vibe from Snow White. You know, the I-ho, I-ho. It's off to work we go. Well,
yes.
Fnatic, they've certainly shown us so far that when they appear, they do so in a very dangerous manner. Sage just going to be sticking back a little bit longer. Love this pinch. My goodness. And look at this. On the edge. Is Matt going to be able to catch him from the window? I don't think he will be able to. No. But that certainly has given them all of study and all of main stairs control. Raven, that's incredible.
It is, but look at the time. 45 seconds. Sage did a really good job to just deal with that and back away. And the fact he's still alive, very critical, Manic. But you're right, Fnatic, they have some good control. They're starting to get set up for this execute, but importantly, look at the Knights. 5 players up, full HP. They should be able to deal with this execute. This should be tough for Fnatic.
It's about to be a dogfight on site. Fnatic circling their prey. They have to hit their shots here, because this is what it's going to come down to. Pure raw contact. Dino and Juicy with both the openings here. It's an onslaught for Knights. Fnatic with absolutely no response. Mag is given nothing in this round. An extremely convincing round from Knights, and a powerful statement to be made here in round 4.
That was unreal. Honestly, I knew it was going to be tough for Fnatic in that execute, but the Knights, man, talk about just eating up from the positioning and on site. Just totally annihilated that push from Fnatic, and this is a really big half from the Knights. If they can stay toe-to-toe with Fnatic throughout this map, they will continue to give themselves this opportunity to take it. And it's important to remind you, this is Fnatic's map pick, and most recently, the most recent history we have for this, Fnatic 7-4'd Cyclops on this in the regular season of APAC North stage. So they really are proficient on this map, and if the Knights can, again, keep in check, I think that it's just a big deal.
Now, big question will be, what are Knights like? This dining kitchen defense, because this is a site that we have not seen yet. We've seen 2 attempts in Aviator games, and we've seen 2 attempts in the trophy stat, in which Fnatic managed to somehow win a clutch 1v1. Extremely awkward. Tex came out the victor in that one, but more so looking to the second round where Fnatic just, my goodness, literally just ripped them apart as if they were nothing but a car. And will it be the same for this kitchen defense? Like I said, haven't seen enough from Knights to know what their hold is going to be like. But it's definitely with a very heavy presence on that top floor, which you just can't afford not to.
Yeah, you really do need to hold this top floor for, I'd say, at least 2 minutes. If you can hold this for 2 minutes, it's really job well done. Obviously, conversely, if you're an attacker team and you can take that top floor within 2 minutes, 90 seconds even, that's also really good. So I think that's where the battle is going to be fought here. Now, there is the Valkyrie on the board, of course, so a lot of info to be gained and a lot of info denial to be had from the Knights as well with that new Mozzie combo. So that will also assist in that delay of taking this control, but Fnatic doing a great job of it so far.
Really, it's what happens when, you know, the Thatcher's left in. We see the Lion and Jackal ban to facilitate the roams that we're seeing from Knights, but unfortunately what that also means is the clears with utility are going to be incredibly easy. And just like that, Knights have somewhat been forced to wait. Now Sage is still extended across the southern side of the map on the first floor, but it looks like he will slowly but surely regroup with his team. Fnatic's still yet to really enter the building and take that top floor control, but bit by bit, Tex will now start to combine with Lusty to ensure that they have free access.
Yeah, but something big has happened. Stigs, he repelled into Pantry. It was pretty early, but he's just been sitting there very patient this whole time. Now, this could be a real big opener for Fnatic if he manages to find a pick on site. But importantly, here it is. They have this full vertical control, giving themselves a minute to do something with it.
Of course, that C4 game is going to come into factor as well. Still 2 left in the pocket after 2 have already been used. And 40 seconds. Fnatic done enough here, Raven. It feels like they've stalled out a little bit now.
They have, but yeah, look, good positioning here. Good take onto Dino. At least he found one and traded it, but Stigs, again, this positioning in Pantry, absolutely incredible. Now, Fnatic are in, our farmer planting, Stigs to cover. No. He misses the rotating player in smoke. Oh, this is huge.
Oh my goodness, Juicy undetected, whips out the dig. See you later, Stigs. 15 seconds left. What an incredible play from Juicy coming back after he'd been subbed for the first map. This is unreal. Tex and Mag scrambling to find something. Juicy will find his 3rd for the round, and Tex, well, that's an effort and a half, but what a heroic play from Juicy.
That was nuts from Juicy, but look, as nuts as that play was and fantastic capitalization on a mistake of Fnatic, Sticks just pushing too deep to cover China Door, not anticipating that a player would rotate through the smoke. Now, this is always the danger when you smoke off a rotation, is you can't effectively cover it. I mean, if they didn't smoke that off, total theory crafting here, but let's say they didn't smoke it off, they had the line of sight through Pantry. Stiggs maybe could have played the Pantry stairs, he could have covered the double door and the China Door rotate, but it's just small things like this that sometimes culminate in how rounds can swing dramatically, because without a doubt, Manic, in my mind, Fnatic had that round once that plant went down. just big from Juicy to capitalize on that.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? It's only a visual thing for those smokes, and I mean, from way back in my day, I'm sure many, not really, it's not way back in my day, but a certain Stewie 2K, the smoke criminal, coming out in the form of Juicy and R6 here, really does, you know, highlight what I've kind of really loved about this new meta, Raven, is we are seeing utility used a lot more, and it feels like, you know, these smoke plays that we're seeing, sometimes they pay off, but it's certainly making things a little bit more interesting. Hayward, come on, there we go, eventually gets it. But essentially, the smoke is only a visual cue. It's not a wall. It doesn't stop anyone from making any plays, you know, so it's very dangerous. And it, more often than not, like you said, if you make the wrong decision, it's a double-edged sword, and it can really slice through your armor if you're not careful.
I feel like this is a really big round here, Manic. If the Knights manage to take a 4-2 half against what felt like such a good opening from Fnatic, could really set a dark tone here for Fnatic on the series, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. So here's the last round for this half at least before we see Knights go to the attack. And again, look at how spread out they are. This roam from Hayward and Sage has been pretty effective. It has definitely taken a lot of resources from Fnatic in recent rounds. Lusty Mag with a quick entry as well, looking to potentially contest, but this is the vertical presence they want to be able to have, at least from the kitchen dining area.
Free to go to town on the flooring above, so using that utility will be all but too easy. Stigs with no drones, but of course the Gemini will essentially act as a live drone for the remainder of Fnatic. That occasion, as per usual, seeing that foothold, a murder hole from the bedroom window all the way through to the trophy rotate. That will certainly play dividends, ensuring that Knights don't have the comfortability of moving around freely on site.
This could be really big from Hayward, though. He's just stayed super patient in this position. He may be able to pounce on some of these players that are trying to get this vertical for Fnatic. Mag in particular, in Memorial, he's a bit of a sitting duck right now. Just depends if there's a drone watching it or a player watching it at the end of the day. 2 minutes gone, Manic. Fnatic have put some pretty good pressure onto site, but there are still 5 Knights players up.
Oh, Dino about to come face to face. And he'll rip the head off of Stigs, continue to push in, and Alfama not expecting it whatsoever. We've seen this all too often. Knights storm away with a 4th round on the defense, Raven. Dire straits here for Fnatic as they are already down the map in the series.
It is. Now, look, I was saying if the Knights manage to get a 4-2 half, that could be pretty big, but what I wasn't really anticipating is, again, that would be a flawless round. I think the statement that makes is just incredible. I feel like the Knights are continuing to settle into some good form. It felt like maybe at the start of the map that just settling back into having Juicy in instead of Picnic had this very small little adjustment period, but he started to play really well. The Knights have started to play really well, and this could be the 3rd place half that they're looking for to close out the series.
Didn't really expect that was going to be what we were saying here on Villa. Now, having said that, in comes what I call my favorite segment, Devil's Advocate. If it was hard for Fnatic to maintain the roam game from Knights, guess what? It's the same storyline here. If Fnatic lean into that heavier roam style, it's going to be so hard for Knights to deal with. No Lion, no Jackal. You are going to need to drone phenomenally in the prep phase, and certainly in the phase 1, phase 2 of the round, which is, you know, for anyone who doesn't really know what I mean by that is, you know, the first 2 opening minutes, essentially. And right now we are seeing Alfama on the mute. Now, whether that is for wall denial, which you would assume is a key factor there, they'll still have the opportunity to use at least 1, maybe 2 off of site, which we're going to see where they're going now. It looks like it's a little bit closer to home. So Fnatic maybe not leaning into as heavy of a roam play as what we saw from Knights. At least not in round one.
No, but that being said, Tex is on a bit of a journey on the other side to early contest here. And I think that's important. When you don't have the Jackal, Lion, you know, those operators that are there to help with a roam clear, you want to have early presence because it means that the Knights, for example, are going to have to use a lot of drones to try and figure this out. And that's what's happening. Tex has been able to shoot some drones, pull back. He's not overextending, which is a really good job from him. And this is just going to come down to what do the Knights decide to do here. They've already taken some really solid control on the north side and not really delaying, which is great.
That's the thing. If Knights can continue to peak with this confidence, they'll really set themselves up for a lot of success. And here comes the first. Oh, I don't mind that from Stigs, okay? That looks like a bit of an obscure C4 to be throwing out, but the second he hears that magnet go off, the audio cue initiates that C4. Unfortunately, Knights had pulled back from the angle. It was Sage, in fact, that was there. And Knights just slowly but surely burning through their utility as well. So it's tit for tat at the moment.
It is, and this is where it's really stalled out. They want to try and get this 90 control, but they're really hesitant about something. I think what's really important here is this player on red, it is Tex. If they don't manage to get the clear onto Tex, this is going to go significantly downhill for the Knights. And there it is. Josh has been the first one down in this engagement. That's downstairs. Still a minute to go, but the Knights have really gotten stuck in this position.
They certainly have, and the longer they sit here, the longer it remains to be an issue. Juicy going down as well. How many lines of sight were they able to open into the middle? Once again, Sage is the player to respond for Knights. Okay, massive thing right now. Knights only have 2 drones on the board, only one of which can be moved, and that's on Haywood. Oh, see you later, plus. Oh, that's gnarly.
Wow. That was incredible, but here we are. Knights are in. They're going for this execute Manic. They've had the clearance. There's players on the other side of Vault, but it's going to have to be covered by Dino.
Dino, can't play the big effect that he was hoping for. Alfama with a massive retake of the site. Haywood still in this with a chance. Don't count him out just yet. Both players in Vault. If he plays this right, he may just be able to find at least one of the picks. He hits the first shot on the mag. No information. That's so unfortunate. But it's exactly what Fnatic needed to get back into this round. A massive play from Alfama to make that work.
Yeah, look, that was a really big play. You're right there, Manic. But at the end of the day, the Knights did a good job bringing that back. There was really, that stall point was what cost them there, I'd say. I'm not sure exactly what stalled them out. I think they were probably trying to drone that downstairs position, and we did see a player get downed in an early engagement or a mid-round engagement. At the end of the day, that's a really important round for Fnatic. They've clawed one back. They're closing this gap. They're only one round behind the Knights. They do get to bring this to 4-4. They really are back in this.
The door has been left slightly ajar for Fnatic here. If they lose that round, 5-2 just seems like not a near impossible task by any means, but a steep hill to climb. In APAC North, it's a 58% defensive map. And then, I mean, when you have a look at APAC South, it's 55%. So, you know, this is certainly favoring the defensive half. Whether it's 3 rounds or 4 rounds is the big difference here.
10 seconds left.
Fnatic, they really need to give themselves this room. They need to be able to get this early lead and ensure that they can equal things out here. And they will attempt to do so in Trophy.
All right, time to see what Fnatic's got for Stat Trophy. And now, just to talk about, oh my lord. Oh, the pre-fire and timing, that's going to haunt Stigs for a little while. What I was going to say is just to talk about the bans again. You know, not having those operators such as Lion and Jackal to assist on the roam clear. probably does make you think as attackers that you would lean more towards pushing direct, or it just makes you a little more hesitant to gain map control because you really only have your drones as a tool in that instance. Of course, you could bring Dockerby, but not the most ideal scenario. But speaking of not ideal scenarios, Fnatic really on the back foot right now. Mag just got pretty heavy tagged up. They've already lost this opening pick, only 1 minute in.
And now it just really does give Knights a bit more to work with. Tex going down to 20 HP. Not the greatest start. Once more, look at the drone economy. Knights withering away. Still with 5 drones up, though. Thought it was going to continue in that trend, but now they're taking peaks over just the simplicity of droning and finding these picks on site. A team that can certainly do so as well.
Really good control here from the Knights. 2 players low on Fnatic. They have site pretty well surrounded. Now, there is a player still sitting Astro Stairs for Fnatic. This could be really influential. This is where the Knights don't really have a lot of progress. Now, they potentially have an air jab for that flank. And speaking of air jabs, Hayward, the Nomad player, has been hot in this round for the Knights. He's found another pick as Juicy pushes through. Starts to plant to bait, and the Knights are just all over Fnatic on this one.
Yeah, no chance for Fnatic. Surely that's locked in the books, Tex. With no HP to his name. See you later. Now, Raven, I'm seeing that in our green room for the casters as well. Apparently, Hayward on the upside down skylight rappel. Not something you see every day. Bit of a Spider-Man.
Bit of a Spider-Man move. And look, it's funny because that sounds like it's such a risky or dumb play, however you want to categorize it. But when you're playing, especially competitive, those plays, they will work on the rare occasions because as a pro player, you get into patterns. You don't think about checking for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of chaos happening there. I do not blame anybody on site for not being able to hear that the grapple hook was deployed and he was coming down because, yeah, it was noisy. Just incredible from Hayward to pull that out because it's incredibly risky. But look at that, risk reward. The Knights claw closer to this series point.
Well, I think it's a much more calculated risk when you have the opportunity to. You know, when you have the advantage in the man count, when things are a little bit chaotic, it is much more of a calculated risk, a calculated opportunity as well. And it's used to absolute perfection. And Fnatic, they are not looking to mess around, not sticking to that trophy site. They're going to move straight down into Kitchen here. And, I mean, it does always feel like Kitchen is that third and final side of the rotation that sees such varied success, but you know, we'll just stick to the APAC North stats. It definitely does favor the defensive side quite heavily, 60%. So there is more than enough fuel in this for Fnatic to continue to keep the Knights at arm's reach.
Yeah, really important for Fnatic to get this round back because, yeah, they want to keep the deficit low, but really importantly, Knights win this round, they're on match point. They are on series point. So this is starting to get a bit scary for Fnatic. But what's important here is they haven't lost that player early, unlike the last round. Really was going to make it tough for them to always be able to fight back. But what can the Knights do to step it up here?
It's a very interesting talking point when we look at the Knights and we think about what we were saying in map 1 on Coastline, the fact that the reason they're such a dangerous team is because there is not one player that stands out individually amongst a team of incredible players. They have all come into action, come into the fray at their own point in time in this matchup. Josh, although was a little bit quiet here, was incredible on Coastline, 8-4. And now it's Hayward that's stepping up, going 9-2. On the flip side, though, expected maybe Tex and Stigs to be a little bit more in this game. And this is the opportunity to do so. The defensive side start to deny Knights a bit more of this game.
Just to quickly touch on this as well, Manik, the disparity in survival rates is incredible. Fnatic, their best survival player or rate is like 6 deaths. But if you look at the Knights, they got Sage only 3 deaths in 8 rounds. Hayward 2 deaths in 8 rounds. That's pretty incredible. The rest on 5. Really showing the effectiveness of them, but the effectiveness of Juicy has been taken away by Magnet on this round. A minute to go, it's starting to fade away for the Knights in this one.
And I'm going to say it again, I feel like I've been harping on about this with Knights for pretty much the entire season. Their drone economy dwindling away. Only 3 drones at the minute 20 mark. It's so little to play off, especially on a game that relies on such great intel. Hayward forced to try and find an opening into China and can't do so. This now becomes incredibly awkward. Alfama with the Yokai gets away and scot-free at that. Now it is on to the remaining 2 player of Knights. That'll be the swing from Tex. And it's game on with both Sage and Dino looking to play for pure contact. There's 1 player down in basement. If they can find these Yokais, they're going to be in serious trouble. In comes Sage. He's just found both Hazir, or at least one of them. What can Lusty get done? Alfama. Oh, I'm having flashbacks. No, not like this. Knights on the cusp of match point. Alfama with a retake in a 1 versus 2. With such little time remaining, it does not look achievable, Raven.
And just such great positioning from the Knights. Look at this in the outlines. They should be able to cover this from above. Surely Sage gets it. He does. They move to match point, series point, Manic, off the back of nothing short of an incredible 2v4 clutch, I think that was.
It was as well. Oh my word. Sage has been lighting up the server with no chance of slowing down. This is unbelievable from the Knights. They are on the verge of 2-0ing Fnatic in the upper bracket final to secure 3rd place. And they're doing so in style. This is, of course, Raven, a Fnatic tactical timeout.
So it needs to be, honestly. This is where it gets scary. We've talked about it quite a bit. Knights getting to match point now. Does mean Fnatic, they got to get 3 in a row. And that's not something they have done in this map. That's not something they did on Coastline either. 3 rounds in a row has not been in Fnatic's vocabulary today. So really going to be tough. Good call for the tack timeout. Start thinking things through, but the Knights, they are really poised right now to take 3rd place of APAC in stage 1.
We head back to AVG to potentially decide Fnatic's fate. And just to cast your minds back to that round, it was a 3v3 with about 30 seconds remaining. Knights went in for a safe vault plant. Unfortunately, they couldn't hold the line. Alfama came in with a huge 2K on the smoke. And now they will not want it to come down to the wire like that again. This is a game of inches, pixels, and milliseconds, Raven. And right now, Knights may well have just run the upper bracket gauntlet.
They may well just have, Manic, but it's been incredible thus far. And speaking of incredible, I've got to say, for me at the moment, of course, not over, not counting the chickens before they hatch, but Sage has probably been MVP for me. He had a great coastline. He's going 12-3 on Villa. That's across 9 rounds. Actually incredible, but there's still some siege to play. Fnatic is still in this game. They are on Villa defense. Their map pick, they've only got 3 rounds to find. They've already got 3 on the scoreboard. Can they do it?
Poor Hayward. That may be one of the first occasions we've seen him lose an opening duel, although it would feel. He has been a highlighted player in this matchup as well. And in come the flashes. Stig's not really tested on the back of it either. And we'll be able to see all of this Fnatic and hopefully get an early read the positioning of Knights.
Just a little thing, but really great air jab from Hayward. He's pushed Stigs back towards classical hallway and air jabs that archway so that Stigs can't retake it. Really will help them to be able to get this control because there's not going to be a swing happening from that direction. They just have to deal with techs, and that's going to give them all of the control they will want from this north side. That being said, they do have to be careful of Lusty. He's down below. He could play an aggressive vertical position. This is where it gets very important. If the Knights come out on top in these engagements, they're going to be sitting pretty to take the map.
And once again, this is where it stalled out, Raven. This is exactly where we saw Knights halter and falter in their last attempt on AVG. Dino at the moment surely just needs to be cautious. No more breaching rounds left, and in fact, Sage only has one more opportunity. There we go. That's what we needed to see it used for. It takes down the shield that Mag was playing behind, and it frees up a lot more room for Knights to play now.
Sorry, I can't help but giggle at watching Mag and Dino just dual pick each other, but some trades come out and Knights come on top. But Fnatic, they also step up. In fact, Stigs found a double. That makes it a 3v2. Still 45 seconds on the board. Dino and Hayward still alive. Two in-form players have been able to clutch it up before, but Fnatic have some really good positioning. And importantly, our farm is still alive here in Vault.
With all three smokes up, Hayward goes down. Dino attempting to trade. There's no time left. Dino needs to go now. Starts to inch a little bit closer to the study door. Finds the kill on the Stigs. That was a really nice read. He has to go through the gates. And now all the positioning should be known. Lusty will win it out and continue Fnatic's opportunity in this best of three. They're not done just yet. We go 6-4. But like you said, they are going to have to run 3 clean sites, Raven.
And that's not to say it's not doable. I certainly think if Fnatic can tidy things up, they really can get these next 2 rounds. But to go back to it, they have yet to string more than 2 rounds in a row in this entire series. So they're going to have to be doing something that they haven't been able to achieve just yet. And the Knights, they still look pretty good, honestly. They just didn't lose the trade war in that midsection of the map. Really could have gone in a different direction. Credit to Fnatic for standing up. Trophy stat. They've got to make something happen here. It's their first attempt at this, in fact.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
That's an interesting one to say the very least, that with Fnatic on a really, really great positioning right now, they just need to convert the next 2 rounds. Now, again, you just need to remember how close it has actually been. Because when we look to the kitchen site, it was a 4 versus 2 in favor of Fnatic. So really, if we look at the history, let's take away the unbelievable play that Sage made in that 2 versus 4, and let's just hone right now in on trophy and stat. If they can take this, they are actually statistically in a really great spot to make this happen. And as one of the godfathers of ANZ Siege once said, it's 95% mental.
Oh, I love that has been referenced so much this weekend. Definitely can't argue with the fact that the balance is certainly on the mental side, but got a big 2 rounds potentially ahead of us, potentially ahead of Fnatic right now. This is a very aggressive hold in the bathroom from Stigs here. They really are throwing everything they can to claw this one back. Such a utility dump, and Josh with a perfectly cooked grenade. That's going to take out Stigs, and that is a solid start for the Knights.
It certainly is. Stigs has just not had the impact we had really hoped for him in this series.
Bomb located by
But nor have Fnatic. The entire roster right now are going to have to come together. Stiggs is going to need to do the best possible job as he is subbed for this round in supporting Fnatic, giving them intel, giving them some kind of hope, because hope is what they are needing right now in a 5 versus 4 Raven.
Again, still doable. We got some big players on the board. Lusty, though, missing that C4. In fact, Lusty has been missing a little bit in this series. Hasn't really hit some of the big plays that we've seen from him before, but you know it can come at any moment. The Knights, that's a risky breach placement. The Dino wants to do. Oh my lord, the clench from this guy. But Josh and Juicy combined. This could be it, Manic.
Oh, it is. It's all onto Alfama. 1v5. They can't do it. The Knights, they run the upper bracket gauntlet in the APAC Playoffs, and they have secured 3rd place overall. A phenomenal, flawless sweep from the Australian roster.
Phenomenal indeed, and that was just, the whole series was incredible from the Knights. They stepped up. They had adversity coming into this. They played with their coach for the first map. They secured that one in strong fashion, and then coming onto Fnatic's map pick with Juicy back on the board. Incredible. Now, I'm going to highlight it straight up. Sage, he had a fantastic series. The man IGLing, he had some insane stats. I think he ended up on 22-10 for the series.